Coming up on this week's episode of Action Corp, the King returns this week. We'll take a sneak preview of the return of the King. Plus, we're going to take a look at Manhunt, PlayStation 2's newest gore fest. And finally, we're going to look at some crazy Eyetoy madness live.
Hey, welcome to Action Corp TV. This is our 19th episode. We're almost up to our 20th episode, so getting really high up there. We'll probably do something special on that 20th episode. But this episode, we've got a lot of really cool stuff, and we're going to kind of start off with something that's really big in the news right now. It's the Return of the King for Lord of the Rings. Return of the King is coming out, and we've got a lot of segments that are going to cover that tonight. And the first thing we're going to talk about just briefly here before we cut to it is the one and the only Return of the King movie trailer. Now, Return of the King just comes out in just 3 more days, and we've got a lot of us are going to be watching that. But we're really excited about it. I know Sean or Seth and Craig and I are all going to go out and watch it this Wednesday. You know, what are your thoughts on that, Seth?
I'm really excited about it. I read the books in middle school. I'm really fired up because I thought the second one was good. The first one, actually, to be kind of honest, I kind of got a little bored in the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
The second one completely kept my attention. The third one looks like it's going to be amazing. So.
Well, apparently, according to Peter Jackson himself, the third movie is the best. And he says it's his favorite. And it was actually, according to him, the easiest one to direct. So there's a lot of reasons to believe this is going to turn out really great. And it's Oscar nominations all around. And so we do have the trailer here that we want to show you for Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and we're going to prompt that up in just a second. So get prepared, get your popcorn ready, and we hope you enjoy Lord of the Rings, Return of the King's trailer.
The eye of the enemy is moving.
The end has come.
Every day, Frodo moves closer to Mordor. How do we know Frodo is alive? What does your heart tell you?
Come, Master. Come to Smeagol. This is your test. Every path you have trod through wilderness, through war, has led to this road.
The enemy will never let Aragorn come to the throne of Gondor.
It is time. Give him the sword of the king.
Become who you were born to be.
The precious will be ours.
He means to murder us! Never!
I'm not sending him away. Come, Smeagol.
The board is set. The pieces are moving.
He is here.
We come to it at last.
I see in your eyes the same fear that would take the heart of me. A day may come when the courage of men fails. When we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Whatever happens, stay with me.
This day, we fight!
All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you.
We shall see the Shire again.
You gave away your life's grace. I cannot protect you anymore.
cannot achieve victory through strength of arms.
Not for ourselves. But we can give Frodo a chance.
We're going to kind of move on to our next segment, which is going to be a segment, our last segment on Return of the King tonight, and that is going to be Return of the King for the Xbox. And we've got Sean here, who's got the game, and he's really eager to show it to us. So let's take a look here.
If you've seen the other, the Two Towers game that was on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, they're the officially licensed games. So they actually have the real voices of the real actors from the movie, real movie footage, everything like that. So it's one of the best things about this game. You can see it playing on the TV behind me here, and we'll actually switch to a little bit of the in-game video here. It actually switches from DVD footage of the movie to 3D real-time rendered scenes of the movie.
Didn't the previous game did this some too as well, right?
The Two Towers did it also. They didn't have a Fellowship of the Ring game that was officially licensed. The one that was actually out was really not that good. It was a third party that didn't have anything to do with the movie, so it really wasn't that good. But we'll switch to the Xbox video feed here, and you'll see fighting here. One of the biggest things about this is being able to fight as Gandalf right off the bat.
These graphics look phenomenal. That is just amazing. That's crazy. The camera shaking.
Yeah, they do an off-the-shoulder type of effect, with the camera. Wow. You have a lot of blocking moves you can do. You can fight as different people throughout the game. One of the best things is that, like I said, that it mixes footage of the actual movie in and breaks through the in-game play seamlessly. I mean, if you don't watch, sometimes you almost can't tell that it's going from the DVD. There's a little cinema scene here.
Let's see this. I see. It's just like this is like just an in-game cinema scene.
This is just in-game. It would take me a little bit to get to the place where they do some actual movie
Look
footage.
how many characters are on the screen. That's just a trick.
Yeah, and playing through, I haven't seen much slowdown at all. There is some puzzle elements to this, and a lot of things. So it's actually a very good game. If you like Lord of the Rings, especially. If you don't, it's still a good action game. There's still a lot of gripping gameplay as far as what you need to do to get through the different characters. Play as all the different characters. You can play as Gollum in this one. Things like this. I'm sorry, what's not right? Okay. Okay.
Oh, we got some.
So it's a very good game. Like I said, if you like the Lord of the Rings series at all, pick it up definitely because it does have footage from the movie. It is DVD.
Get hit in the face! Hurry!
He's not really quite playing at the moment.
Back! You're getting hit in the face! Hurry!
Is it more than just a hack and slash?
Yeah, is it more than a hack and slash?
Not really. There isn't really in-depth puzzles like that. It's not much of a strategy game. It is kind of a button masher, but to get past some of the harder enemies and stuff, you will have to figure out combos and things that you can actually win and things between levels. So,
wow.
But it is a button presser.
Let's top off our Lord of the Rings, the end of our Lord of the Rings segments here with one more final segment, and this is one that I like to talk about, and that is that I purchased the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers Special Edition. The Special Edition, if you're familiar with the other one, the Fellowship of the Ring Special Edition, it is a collection that includes an extended version of the movie. I think this one, the Fellowship of the Ring, had about 25 minutes, I think, of additional footage. I can't remember. It was something like that. It was around 25 minutes, which is a lot at the time. And then, of course, it had 2 great appendices discs. And the other thing, but what's really great is that the Two Towers DVD has 40 minutes of additional footage, which is just phenomenal. And it has 2 more appendices discs of the same quality of the first disc set, continuations of some of the special features that were in the first disc, but all of it's original content. None of it is the same stuff that was on the other collection. And it's interesting too because the bonus discs that come with these are called appendices, much like the appendices in a book. And the bonus discs in this package are actually labeled appendices 3 and 4 because what I am assuming they're going to eventually sell, one more when it comes out Return of the King. Then you're going to be able to have all 3, and then they're going to sell a master set that, of course, includes all of these and probably something extra. And so all of the appendices will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that order. So I am totally into what I think is the most amazing about this is that this is by far the best DVD set I own right here. This is the best DVD I own, and I can watch these extras just over and over again, and they're just as fascinating. And it seems like it's like one of the few ones where I watch the extras and I notice things that I hadn't seen before. You know, it's like you'll watch it one time and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And you'll watch it a second time and you'll get some other bit of news that you just didn't know the first time. You didn't catch it. So it's phenomenal. It's a definite great buy. And it's only like $25 at most places. Yeah. I mean, it's really cheap, and you get 4 discs, and the quality of the content is just superb. You can tell that when Peter Jackson, helped make this extended edition, that he poured a lot of his effort and time and love into them. So definitely a great buy and something you want to invest in. I highly recommend it. The next thing we're going to talk about tonight is going to be Magic the Gathering Battle.
This is Battlegrounds. If you're unfamiliar with Magic the Gathering, you don't really have to be a fan of the card game really to play this again. Same way with the Lord of the Rings and not being a fan of the movie.
Yeah.
This is the same way. If you're a die-hard fan of the card games, then you might not like this game. They do some stuff different. It's not as turn-based as it is in the actual real card game. But it is a well-done game. It's a well-done strategy game. Everything is real-time, so there's no pausing and choosing spells or something like that. You build your spells as you go along, and then you can build a spell book of 10 spells at a time, and that spell book can cross multiple colors of spells. You fight as any one of the 5 colors of Magic: black, red, green, white, or blue. Each one having their own strengths and weaknesses. I think the graphics in this are very well done. You can see the way the menus are. Atari made this game, and they did a really good, or at least they published the game. They did a really good job at doing this kind of thing. So you can jump into a practice duel, pick who you want your character to look like, and pick the style of spell you want. And then, based on the spells at your command, you have to know how to time the spells and release your creatures and do your enchantments and your enhancements and things like that in a timely manner to defeat your enemy. Each person starts with 20 hit points, and it's the first person to be driven down to 0 that loses the game. So the lighting effects are very well done.
I can't wait to
I wish they would have spanned more cards from the actual game than what they actually did. You can see as I'm playing, and you pick up your what's called mana, which is what you use to cast your spells. It's basically like your money. You can cast spells. I'm on the left-hand side, and you can see my guys, fighting against each other here. The little dashes you see at the bottom are how much, damage they inflict when they hit, and how much damage they can take when they get hit. So you have to manage your characters, manage spells on your characters, and also keep an eye on what the guy is sending your way so that you don't get overrun. It's a very good strategy game as far as having to build your spell books correctly so that you can defeat certain enemies. If you just go in blindly and just try to start casting things, you'll run out of mana to cast those spells, and you won't be able to do it. The AI in this game is relentless. The computer opponents, after you play enough that you get all the spells, they do not waste any time to just take you out. They will fill up the screen with enemies as quick as they can, and they will take you down. So it's a really good game if you like strategy games, if you like real-time strategy. It's a very good game. I do recommend it. It's been out for a couple weeks now, and it's just a very in-depth, involving game, whether you're a fan of Magic or not. So it's another Xbox game I recommend.
Moving from an Xbox to the PS2, hey, how you doing? You're shifty. We're going to move to a platformer on the PS2. One of my favorites, the original Jak and Daxter, was a launch game for the PS2. Actually, I shouldn't say launch, a first generation game for the PS2. It was very silly. It was kind of linear, green and pretty. The second one that just came out this month is not as much. They decided they were going to go more urban, inspired a little bit by Grand Theft Auto. We were talking about this earlier today, actually. It's amazing how many games Grand Theft Auto has spawned. We'll take a look now at a little shot of Jak 2. The hoverboard. This is one of the coolest things in the game. Once you get it, this thing saves you all kinds of time traveling around the universe. there's also the weapons. There's also a new power Jack has. If he collects enough of what you just saw there, some dark eco, he has the power to become sort of Hulk-like. I don't know if I think they may actually show it right here.
Oh, really?
Not positive. I think.
And how long does that? How long does that last?
It lasts about a minute, and you're a lot less vulnerable. Daxter's with you. You've got a couple of different combination moves you can do with him, as far as like a helicopter move to slow you down. The guns, there are 4 different ones with different powers, different abilities. The environments range from like inner city, kind of urban nastiness, to caves. There's outdoor, sprawling environments. It's really good looking. It's very fluid. They up the polygon count by thousands, going from Jack to Jack 2. And
I also noticed too that when we were playing it, that there seemed to be a lot of really good puzzle elements in it. Particularly one puzzle that I remember where you had to knock down these blocks.
Oh, the cube puzzle.
The cube puzzle, where you knock down these blocks to form like this path that you can cross over a river. And very complicated puzzle, but a lot of fun, and it was very challenging. And you didn't get frustrated; you just kept wanting to try to do it. And,
exactly.
Really
it's very addictive. Yeah. What you're seeing now, Jack has the ability to, for lack of a better word, jack a car, a la Grand Theft Auto, also to get around the town. Steering actually bothered me a lot in this game. The getting around town, there are no large freeways or large roadways. Everything's kind of like a difficult maze, and playing through it for, I think I spent probably 20 hours in this game, and driving never got easier. It was always very frustrating. But once you got the hoverboard, that took care of a lot of the control issues. Gotcha. So overall, I really liked this game. I thought this was very fun. I think the Jack series and the Ratchet and Clank series are just tremendous platformers for the PS2. So overall, I highly recommend it. Excuse me.
Yeah, you've gotten me, after watching you play this, I think I've gotten in the mood to get into it. But like you said, you convinced me that I should probably wait and play the first game first.
I think so.
Get the story and then come in and play Jack 2.
There is a lot of backstory that you will want. I mean, it's not something you can't play by picking the other one up, by just starting with 2. But I really wanted to know all the backstory, and there are lots of references to stuff that went on. So
cool. Yeah, it looks really good. Definitely a recommender.
The next thing we'll talk about is another PS2 game. This is not a platformer, but this is from the creators of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. So you're expecting a lot of vulgarity.
Obviously, there's going to be a
we'll keep the audio off on this
one. Please,
because
there's no audio.
Because I will leave the audio for
Thank
this
you.
time. I'm sorry.
Especially
it wasn't on my skit, so I didn't know to do that.
That's all right. But it's more than anything on this game, particularly because of the fact of all the
language.
Yeah,
the language is really rough in this game. But we'll keep it down, and we'll try not to show you anything too gory.
This is going to be cool, though.
We'll go ahead and start the video. You play as James Earl Cash, a serial killer who his execution has been apparently faked, and he wakes up in the middle of an abandoned part of a city called Carcer City, and it looks like this mysterious figure known as the director has orchestrated this entire thing so you can be stuck in the middle of a gang-related snuff film extravaganza.
Crazy.
All he wants to do is film you killing these gang members. You're a serial killer, so you've got the know-how to do this, and he knows it, and he wants you to kill as many people as possible. It's sort of, I would classify this game as a survival stealth. Yeah. It sort of has elements of Resident Evil, like you're wandering around, you don't know what's going on. You're trying to hide from these bad guys. You don't want them to find you before you find them. You want to have the edge. Shadows are always your advantage in this game, and sneaking around. Coming up behind somebody like this, these are the executions in the game. You can sneak up behind them, and this is the one weapon is a wire, and there are 3 levels of violence for each weapon. The wire, that was actually the most pleasant of the 3.
Wow. And then there's also a whole feature about this game that has something to do with the headset, right?
Yes, we'll get into that right now. What I want to do in just a second, it's kind of giving me a tutorial, is not only is the earpiece on, the microphone is on. And so it is picking up what I'm saying every time I talk. The radar down in the bottom of the screen, I think I have this muted. I do have this muted. If you notice in the bottom left of the screen, there's a little circle, and I'm in the center dot. If I talk, I'm going to unmute the microphone. There we go.
There we go.
The red circle indicates how far my voice is reaching.
Ah.
So I can barely whisper and it just makes a little circle. Or I can talk real loud and it fills out for, I think that's the radar indicates 15 yards.
So the point here is to scare you into yelling and letting the people around you know that you're there and come kill you.
Exactly. And I've never played a game that pulled me in more, that made me want to shut up. Because it's to your advantage to shut up if you make a noise. I'll run up to this guy right here. I think they'll actually talk to me a little bit. Yeah, they're going to show me this guy. I'm going to come up behind him and then yell at him, and he will actually turn around and come toward me.
This will be interesting.
But right now it's just giving me a little bit of a tutorial.
way to
You can't even see it because my face is on the screen.
Oh, that's all right.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah, it's just a normal in-game sort of tutorial on how to play type thing.
And he's talking to me. He's telling me.
Most
Yes,
likely. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to turn down.
Okay. You can go ahead and turn it down all the way, Craig. We'll see the guy move on the screen.
Okay.
All right, that's enough tutorial. Okay, here we go.
So.
Oh, I think I've muted. Okay, I'm going to come up behind him and then. I'm trying to position him where I'm not on top of him. Hey! Hey! There he is!
Oh, there he goes. He saw you. There he goes. It's like as soon as the red filled up, he turned around and started chasing you.
Yeah, I forgot about that thing on the wall. Hiding in shadows is a way to avoid. I need to turn this mic off, or I'm going to get doing a talk show and playing this game is not a good idea. I really, really like it. It's the most immersive game I've ever played. It's a game that completely pulls you in because you're both listening in your earpiece and you're not wanting to talk, and it's great. I've been freaked out twice playing it to where I had to stop playing. Not absolute scaredness, just kind of nerves. It was just kind of tense. The game does a great little kind of a grainy video effect to where it looks like it's a snuff film. And when you do what's called an execution, the game sort of zooms in and shows off your maneuver a little more. Yes. If that guy's gone back, then I can do this for you. And the weapon I have right now, I started with a plastic bag. And yes, he's back where he goes.
Here we go.
Kill him.
This is it. Oh, that's cool. I mean, not exactly something you want to show the kids.
Right. This game is
rated
mature.
Mature. Yeah.
What happened when you tried to buy this game?
The very good question. Target actually carded me, and that's one of the few times I've ever been carded buying a mature game. I hope more retailers start doing this because we're going to run into some big problems here if the different stores do start selling. Whoop! I need to stay right here. If the different stores do start selling, that's the problem. Is younger kids are getting this game, and then parents don't understand why video games are like this. Not all video games are like this. This is
no different than walking into a bookstore and there being a gardening magazine or there being Playboy. I mean, parents need to understand that there are different genres for different people, and they should monitor their kids' video games, and if they feel that's inappropriate, then don't let them get it.
It's like an R-rated movie.
Exactly.
I mean, when a kid goes to an R-rated movie, the parent needs.
You don't have to stop making games about this. If there's an audience for it, that's great. But just don't let kids get them if you don't feel it's appropriate. That's where parents need to step up.
Right, and it's especially in a time where gamers 15 years ago are now growing up, and they're not going to play Donkey Kong Country. They're not going to play Super Mario 3. They want something a little bit more for them.
Right.
And this kind of game is for an older crowd.
Yeah, it's really just a release. Nobody takes these games seriously, really. I mean, it's all just about you just blowing off steam, and it's all right. I mean, you got to look at it for what it is and not label it. Luckily, though, let's move on to the last topic today, which is going to be a really cool sort of idea that this is a totally different, opposite spectrum of game quality or game type here. This is going to be a game where you've got.
We've got like 2 minutes for this.
Oh, we got 2 minutes. So let's do it as quickly as we can here.
Sure.
Just as you saw a moment ago where we were using the headset to do something really innovative in a game, now we're going to be doing something with a new device for the PS2 called the Eyetoy, which is actually a little video capture device for PS2. And that video capture device allows you to put yourself in the game and control the game by your actions on the screen. And so this is going to be really interesting because at first I thought this was going to be pretty stupid, but it turned out to be a lot of fun, particularly at a party setting. And we're letting the game boot up right now. And we've got the Eyetoy set up, so we're getting ready to give you a little live demo here as quickly as we can before we quit out the show. But I think you're going to be thoroughly impressed.
Whoa. This here, if you can take a...
Go ahead and take my shot, Craig.
This is look at the Eyetoy. This is just a USB camera. It's made by Logitech. If you plug this into your computer's USB port, it's gonna show up as a Logitech webcam. There's no drivers for it. It won't work as a webcam, but...
Why don't we go ahead and take the Eyetoy cam right now, Craig?
Well,
what we're going to see is the PS2. There we go. Here's the game. So it comes with like a set of mini games that come with it. Obviously, these are the only games that work with the Eyetoy. I'll go ahead and control the Eyetoy while you stand in front of it, just to get it focused and everything on you.
Okay.
And I'll be able to see you, and we'll get you centered up, and we'll start a game. All the menus and everything are controlled this way.
Everything. You don't use a controller at all. I'm just going to, by waving my hand over these different selections.
I'm going to center you up a little more here.
Okay.
There we go.
I'll play without a profile. You can set up a profile with your own pictures and everything like that if you want to. We'll go into easy. So just by wiggling my hand over the different buttons, I'm making my selection. Well, let's do Kung Fu.
Yeah, just do a quick game. That'd be pretty easy.
There we go, and I'll start it. If there's a way to sell this game, it's that a non-gamer is going to fight for their turn with this thing. This is, my parents are not gamers by any means, but they love this thing. It's just a silly little... Everything is just motion capture. Now you can cheat in the game, and you can stand there and do this. But what's the fun, really? I mean,
the fun is all about watching your friends wiggle their arms around wildly, and then laughing at them, really.
Well, and another funny thing is, if you're not doing this, if you're watching someone else doing it, it looks very, very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
We actually filmed ourselves playing with this.
Oh, now you're in hyper mode. Look at it adds this cool motion blur effect. Very cool. And there are lots of games that do this that are just really interesting. So, you could see the game version of him, and then you could see him on our other camera here just acting like a moron, basically. But it turned out to be a lot. I was much more impressed than I thought I would be. I thought this was going to be the stupidest little gimmick in the world, but it turns out to actually be fun and fun to play with the group. So thanks for watching Action Corp episode 19, and we'll be coming back pretty soon with another episode. And on the, it'll be our 20th episode. Who knows? We'll probably try to do something special on that one. Nothing particularly. We're just going to do credits, which is on the keyer, which is I believe 0, I think, or something like that.
Fade us out on a 2-shot. Come on now.
Yeah. So. Or actually, it's one of the F keys. I think it's F5 or something. I can't remember.
It's F5.
Yeah. So. Thanks for watching, and hope you tune back in soon. There it is.
Bye.
He hit one of those.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks for putting up with that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm sorry about that.